LeBron James, what a guy. I mean, this is one of the greatest basketball players of all time, of course. You could make a very strong case that he's the greatest to ever do it. In my opinion, he is, as much as a controversial opinion that is. But all we know is that LeBron is 37 years old and still tearing up the league, playing like he was back in the prime of his career, if not even better, and still easily playing at an MVP caliber level, and arguably is the best player in the league. I'm not going to say that he is right now with all the talent that we have, but he's still in the conversation. He's doing all of this at 37 years old, yet he's essentially wasting his talent right now, because while he is he's getting the spotlight for playing in LA with the Lakers, this team has been horrible this season. The whole Russell Westbrook thing isn't working out, and right now they're sitting with a record of 22-22, are the 8th seed in the Western Conference after being thought of before the season as probably the best team in the NBA. So this poses the insane question. I know this is insane to think about, but will LeBron James return to Cleveland when he's a free agent for the third time and retire as a Cleveland Cavalier? That's what I'm going to be discussing in today's video. Why this is possible, what the situation would look like if this actually did happen, and why I still think it actually is a legitimate possibility that LeBron goes back to Cleveland for the third time and retires as a Cav. So let's get into it. So as of right now, LeBron James is eligible to become an unrestricted free agent at not the end of this season, but the end of next season. So this would be the start of the 2023 and 2024 season. He would be 38 years old at the start of this season, and he would essentially have the decision to sign anywhere he wants. Now, when we talk about non-basketball for a second, going back to the Cavs would absolutely make no sense. We know that really the main reason that LeBron James ended up signing with the Lakers in the first place was because of post-NBA career options, like business aspirations and what it means for his family to be living there instead of in Cleveland, where the situation would be a lot better in LA. In Cleveland, their family's going to be being swarmed by everyone, and like I mentioned, business aspirations as well play into it. But when we talk about a basketball perspective, it just doesn't really seem right that LeBron James, after having the most insane career that we have ever seen in NBA history, would end his career not only with the Lakers, who he only started playing with when he was 35 years old, but end his career not on top. Like, there's a legit possibility that he could be ending his career with the Lakers as an 8 seed and being remembered as the guy that played with Russell Westbrook and wasn't able to win at the end of his career. And listen, I know that it doesn't seem like winning is going to be everything, and it's not about actually on-court stuff. Like I said, more about like the business aspirations and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, it just doesn't feel right, and it feels right that LeBron would end his career with the Cavs, where he always says he's the kid from Akron, Ohio. He went back to Cleveland to win them their championship. He's had 2 stints with them. If you were to associate one team with LeBron James throughout his career, it would obviously be the Cleveland Cavaliers. And when you look at the 4 championships that LeBron has won throughout his career, the one that he won for the Cavs was by far not only the best, but meant the most to him. You could see it obviously in his emotions on the day that he won that. The other ones, you look at LeBron James after winning those championships, he didn't even really look like he was having, I mean, obviously he just won the championships, he was having an amazing time, but the one after when he won it for the Cavs, the emotions were just pouring out, and you can tell that when he was playing for the Cavs, those were the best moments of his basketball career. And if he were to go back there right now, he would be in a better situation with an actual basketball team that he's ever been in his career with the Cavs. He had to carry teams with nobodies to the finals, and both times when LeBron James left the Cavaliers after his first and second stints there, they went from basically a championship caliber team to bottom of the Eastern Conference both times. Meanwhile, right now, the Cavs are sitting with a great young core, a great strategy with this whole tall ball system, which I made a video about that early in the year if you guys want to check that out as well. But I'm not going to get into that right now. They're sitting with the 6th seed without LeBron James. Imagine what they could do with him. He would definitely probably elevate them to being one of, if not the best teams in the NBA, and I think he'd fit in well with their rotation as well. Now, before I jump ahead of myself and get into this stuff about what if LeBron actually went to the Cavs, what would that team look like, all that kind of stuff, I have to just go back to the whole thing with living in LA, business aspirations, all that kind of stuff. Because listen, what I've said so far of this video, maybe you've been inspired by it, it seems cute, but it really doesn't still make logical sense. But when we talk about some of the logical options here for if it would actually be logical for LeBron to find a way back to Cleveland at some point, first of all, what he could do is if he really does care about basketball, like I mentioned, he could sign with them when he is an unrestricted free agent in the 2023 and 24 season. And another option too is this wouldn't exactly be probably with that core team that the Cavs have right now that they're doing really well with, but LeBron could potentially, if he wants to go some more years and he wants to play in the NBA when he's 41, 42 years old, then what could happen is when he becomes an unrestricted free agent, he signs another 2-year deal with the Lakers where off of the court, that's really where he wants to be. But then maybe when he's 41 or 42 years old, he could sign something like a 1-year deal with the Cavs just to have one more crack at that and end his career as a Cleveland Cavalier. Like I said, it just doesn't seem right that he's ending his career as a Laker. I really think it would be worth it to just sign that 1-year deal just to go back, try to win one more championship, and end his career in such an iconic way. I mean, just think about that in your head. Imagine a 41 or 42-year-old LeBron James signing in Cleveland for 1 year to end his career and going on a championship run. Now, there's other stuff, there's possibilities of him like playing with his son Bronny, and while that's another insane possibility, I would argue that going back to Cleveland and retiring there and having one more crack at a championship run would be pretty much as good, if not better, than teaming up with Bronny. I mean, maybe this sounds insane, but maybe LeBron finds a way to do both. Like, if he's 41, like in the year that he's 40 turning 41, maybe he can try to play with Bronny just to check that off his bucket list, and then the next season after that play with the Cavs and have this amazing run to the finals at the end of his career and retire a Cleveland Cavalier. Even if he doesn't go to the finals, that would still be awesome to see him retire there. I know this all seems dreamy and it's all like fantasy type of stuff, but LeBron can pretty much do what he wants. He's always looking to sign these deals where he has player options and he has freedom and he can pretty much do whatever he wants with his career. And listen, I know the whole thing about off-court living in LA seems really good, and if LeBron really wants to do that, who's to say he can't go play 1 year to retire with the Cavs and then go back and live in LA after when he retires? I mean, that's a legitimate and logical possibility too. I know it's a lot you can't just move out of a place for 1 year and it's all easy and everything, but I think that's a logical possibility as well if he wants to end his basketball career the right way by retiring with the Cavs and going for another insane run. Now, if this did actually happen, the Cavs rotation would be looking absolutely filthy. I mean, if this did happen recently, like for example, when LeBron becomes an unrestricted free agent, he'd be playing alongside Darius Garland and Colin Sexton. He could maybe be the small forward on that team, and then you'd also have Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. And then if the Cavs do still have Lauri Markkanen, what they could do is a lot of the time even just run a mega tall ball lineup, which they're pretty much already doing with 3 7-footers with Lauri Markkanen, Mobley, and Jarrett Allen, and also throwing Kevin Love in there. But then you could also have those 3 7-footers, LeBron and Darius Garland. And imagine how potent of an offense this would be of Garland and LeBron running pick and rolls with pretty much any of those 3 7-footers of their choice. That would be a lethal, like Darius Garland and Jarrett Allen are already one of the best pick and roll duos in the league. Imagine throwing LeBron into that now, like a LeBron and Allen pick and roll duo or a LeBron and Mobley pick and roll duo. That would just be absolutely insane. Offensively, they'd be great, and then defensively, I talked about this in my video as well about the Cavs tall ball lineup way earlier in the year when they were like 10 games into the year. But what works really well is they have so much length defensively and interior presence, of course. But not only that, but even the 7-footers that they have on this team, all of them are decent perimeter defenders. None of them get cooked all the time on the perimeter, and that's why their tall ball lineup can work. And LeBron would fit into this perfectly as well. He's a big guy that's really versatile on both ends of the floor, and especially defensively can pretty much decently guard 1 through 5 as well, just like guys like Jared Allen and Mobley. So this would, in terms of actual basketball, which you guys know that's what I like to talk about on this channel, this fit would be very good. And obviously, I mean, if this did happen in the scenario like I talked about where LeBron's 41, 42 years old, looking to end his career just with 1 year with the Cavs, probably not all these guys are going to be here, but all these guys on the Cavs that I've talked about, Garland, Sexton, Mobley, Allen, these are all future pieces that I would be shocked if at least 2 out of these 4 guys aren't also on the Cavs in 4 to 5 years when this can potentially happen. If it happens in 4 years, Jared Allen would still be under contract. They could potentially re-sign him after as well if he really likes it there. Mobley and Garland and Sexton, actually for that matter as well, are all future pieces that they could potentially try to lock up long term as well, and I think most of these guys would be on the team, and LeBron could slide right into that at the end of his career and try to go on a run. So the fit would be great, and if this did happen, whether it happened when LeBron's 38 or whether he's 42, it would be a really great fit, and I really think this team would be able to win the championship, to be completely honest. I mean, we're looking at LeBron James right now, who at 37 years old is having one of the best years of his career. This guy is, I'm not, like I said at the start, I'm not going to go out and say he is the best player in the league right now, but he still has a very, very strong case. This guy is putting up 28.8 points per game this year with 7.5 rebounds per game, 6.5 assists, shooting almost 52% from the field, over 36% from 3, and almost 62% true shooting in his 19th year in the NBA while he's 37 years old. Who's to say that he's still not doing this stuff when he's 40? If he's doing it when he's 37, I mean, he could slow down a little bit, and even if he does, that Cavs team would still be insane. But I've learned, and many other fans across the NBA have probably learned, that LeBron James is ageless. He's still probably going to be dominating when he's 41 to 42 years old. And if he does do this with one final year with the Cavs, that would be absolutely insane. And who's to say that he couldn't do it when he's an unrestricted free agent as well? Like I said in today's video, this is a long shot kind of prediction and possibility, but it is possible. When you look at a basketball perspective, it makes lots of sense. The off-court stuff, you still got to figure that out, but like I said, there's possibilities where LeBron could move back to LA when he is retired, all that kind of stuff. And there's different possibilities that I went through in today's video where he could return to the Cavs. The team on the court would be looking insane if he did, and it would be an insane way to end the best career, or the most exciting career that we have ever seen in the history of the NBA. So thank you guys for watching today's video. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. We're on that road to 1,000 subscribers. Comment down below your thoughts on today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.